What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this snowfall video is about will MANBOY'S prophecy come true. Now, MANBOY was a kind of smart little hustler in the streets, and he made a couple big mistakes, but one of the last things he did with his last words, his dying breath, is call out Franklin and his crew and basically say that they all gonna end at each other's throats. I'm gonna break it down. Let's see if it possibly come true. Now, MANBOY, he actually did some good things in his life at one point, because he had a sister who was in the foster home and was abused. They didn't really touch on it too much, but he wasn't very spiritual like Scully was, but at the same time he did have some smarts. Now, Scully, I could see maybe making a prophecy because of the spirituality that he has right now, plus he tweaks out on that sherm. But MANBOY was more reserved. He was more strategic. He had tried to get Franklin set up, as we all know, to get the plug, and he tried to manipulate people, whether it's male, female, or whatever the case, in order to get what he wanted. We saw what happened when he did with Leon and Wanda and other things. And so he had no problem trying to peep game and take advantage. But it didn't always work out the way he had planned. And so he messed up with Franklin. Had he had been a loyal dude and been there by his side, maybe he would have got the plug. But one thing he did know is the game. Now, they never said that he was a Crip, but he did mostly wear blue all the time. Now, he tried to tell his sister, he tried to calm her down about what was going on, and she had the bounty, but she wouldn't listen, and he knew and said that it was going to lead to trouble, and he was right, because she pushed Franklin and the crew to the edge where they had to deal with him. Now, when he was at the barbershop Dope Boys, he was drinking on the Old B 600, the knockoff Old E, and he was saying his plan, that he gonna get the plug, he gonna take over from Franklin, and all the things that he wanted to do. He said, just like I saved you and took care of that dude that was bothering you, and when you was in foster care, I can take care of stuff for you. I can handle things. And Scully knew that he was shady and grimy, but Scully, you know, would love to stay in his position, so he didn't want to challenge anybody. But MANBOY, he didn't want to be in the same position, but he didn't go about it the right way. Now, he was shady, and everybody he dealt with was in a shady way. So he figured that it's only the same thing going to happen with Franklin and his crew. Now, MANBOY, whenever we see interactions with him and his crew, he would kind of treat them like subordinates. Whereas Franklin, they're more like a family. It's his uncle Jerome, and then is Leon. Now, his sister, her braids were so damn tight in her hair, she wasn't paying attention. She wasn't listening to nothing he was saying, and that was a problem. And a lot of his crew, they didn't listen either, which is why they messed up when they tried to set up Scully and kill him. Now, we saw T looking all thick and juicy right there, and he was trying to manipulate her to get Franklin, and he had a kind of a prophesied, he didn't prophesy, but he had it planned out pretty good, in the fact that she was gonna get real close to him and he was gonna start to spill the beans. And slowly Franklin was starting to tell stuff, but the way Franklin is, this plan wouldn't work, because Franklin would never involve somebody like her and put her at risk to get in danger or killed or whatever. So that plan would have never worked really, unless it took years. But he didn't have years. He was impatient. So we see that also she was scared of him, and he shot in the wall and different things. So he was grimy, he was gutter. It wasn't like he was a punk. Even his last words, he went out like a G. Now, when Salt and Pepper came, they tried to push it real good with this little lopsided fro Leon wannabe, but he handled it. He told them, hey, you all keep doing this, y'all gonna bring more drama, more heat. I mean, that was kind of obvious, but he did have a good head on his shoulders. Now, when the barbershop Dope Boys got the word on the street that, you know, everybody was coming for him, he was ready, but they never showed up, which should have gave him a red flag that something wasn't right. Now, when he was talking with his boys, he said, "Hey, Buster, I ain't got to cheat you, Buster. Come on now, I got all the money I need, Buster." Anyway, he was going to get the phone call. He asked her because he knew it wasn't something right. But he didn't ask the proper questions. And so she said, yeah, Franklin want to make the deal. He knew that something wasn't right, but this is what he'd been waiting on the whole time. Had he have gone to the place that they said, he probably wouldn't have got killed. But Franklin knew he wouldn't listen. He knew he wouldn't believe her. So he was right on that. He was right on a lot of things. I got to give Manboy credit on that. But he slipped too much. He went to that house. He didn't search the house properly. He knew she was in there. She didn't answer. "Come on, I can smell the pink lotion out here. Open the door. I can smell that pink lotion out here." She came, opened the door, whatever. Instead of checking in peeping game, checking out the scenery and seeing who's in the house, he wanted to go into attack mode. And he knew something wasn't right. He grabbed her. He was about to kill T. He should have just shot her. That would have helped Franklin out tremendously. He could have killed two snitches with one bullet. But instead, he caught a little knife to the gut. And we know he was struggling. And while he was trying to get up and struggle or whatever the case, he ended up getting taken out. And because of that, he was slipping. Franklin was able to give him two to the chest, had him doing the whop over there on the side of the wall, and he didn't know what hit him. So, was he saying this out of anger or frustration? I mean, I know he wasn't trying to start breakdancing in that middle of the flow right there, but he had to go ahead and drop it like it's hot. So Franklin put two into him. He was surprised. He was really surprised and caught off guard. So when Franklin told him, "Turn your punk ass over," Boys in the Hood style, he turned around and he said, "How'd you know I'd be here? How'd you know I'd be here?" And like Franklin told him, "Yeah, you was always smart, Drew, but you wasn't as smart as you could have been. You wasn't as smart as you thought you was." So did that piss him off to say this, or was he gonna say this or thinking this anyway? So he said, "All y'all are some busters, each one weaker than the next. Jerome, you your nephew's bitch. Leon, my sister carved your best dude up like a Christmas ham. And Franklin, you was pussy whipped by a girl who was under my command. You think you gonna get out of this game without nobody coming for you? You crazy. They gonna turn on you." Now, who was he talking about gonna turn on who? Were they all gonna turn on each other? I don't think Jerome and Franklin may turn on each other. That's blood. Leon has proven that he wants to do his own thing and look down on Franklin in a way, because when Franklin wanted to have him come back with him, he said, "I got better things to do than drive you around." So I think it may be true that Franklin and Leon and Franklin and Jerome may have a problem. Remember, when Jerome killed Khadijah, Leon was hurt. Leon was saying, "Why'd you do that? You didn't have to do that." But Jerome popped her. And Jerome in the house, it was a wrap. And so what is Leon going to do? He has a lot of regret and a lot of remorse, I think. And it's building up in frustration. And if anything, I could see something happening with Leon and Jerome. And that would cause a rift between Leon and Franklin. But I don't think that Franklin and Jerome will turn on each other. So will Manboy prophecy come true? I think that it is a possibility, because that's the game. Very rarely does people, of course, there's no retirement plan. Ain't no 401k in the dope game. Now, every single person doesn't end up dead or in jail, and some people do make it and live a long life, whatever the case, but they are very few and far between. Now, these dudes are young in the game, and the chances of them turning on each other for many different reasons is very high. And I think that the possibility that Leon and Franklin and Leon and Jerome is going to be a problem. Now, I don't think that they would have to kill Leon. I hope not. And I hope Leon doesn't try to kill Jerome or Franklin, but I do think that they're going to have a split and some type of beef in season 5. Y'all let me know in the comments below what y'all think. The game is a dirty game, man. You can't trust nobody, and everybody wants your position, your money, and it's just a really, really tough gig to have and try to live that type of life. And as we see, even a smart hustler like Manboy ended up getting capped, taken out, and Manboys to men never got a chance because he got taken out before he got to be old. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think. I think it's a possibility, but I don't think that Jerome and Franklin gonna turn on each other. I think it'll be something with Leon and Franklin, or Leon and Jerome. And I think Leon and Jerome is the possibility most likely. Anyway, I'm out. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.